This is Andy Peroff, Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Adam Morallee here at the end of the weigh-ins as your charge. The man you're looking after, Richards, prepares to defend his Commonwealth title and attempt to pick up the vacant British title against Lennox-Clarke tomorrow. But Adam, first and foremost, how are you doing?
Very well, thanks. Very good. All good. It's good to be in Birmingham.
I'm glad someone thinks so, because that don't get said that often. Obviously, like I mentioned, you're here for Richards. How's been looking ahead of his bout with Lennox?
Tremendous. Way ahead of schedule in sparring. Sparred some really good people along the way. Different weights. Really looking good. I think he's going to look very, very strong. Look strong on the scales today. Probably put on another, serious amount of kilos. He looked big and strong in the ring. I've just been speaking to his opponent, Lennox-Clarke, who had some lovely words to me.
Do you want to share those words?
Yeah. He just insinuated that he was going to be successful, and said it was a tough fight for Lerone. But Lerone's a cool customer, unperturbed, not bothered with anything.
What do you guys actually know about Lennox? Because I know he's kind of been waiting in the wings for an opportunity like this. As I know, Lerone has to fight for a British title. Not somebody who you might be able to find much footage of. So what do you guys know about Lennox?
Yeah, we know he hits hard. We know he's got a big heart, and we know he's in front of his home crowd, and he'll be wanting to impress them tomorrow night. And we've got a game plan to suit that. But yeah, a lot of respect for Lennox-Clarke. Tough fight, proper fight for Lerone. Proper fight, and we hope it shows the level Lerone's at and the class he's at, and he can take this fight on, deal with tomorrow night, and then take another step up and another step up.
So how can you kind of see the fight playing out between the pair when they are in the ring?
Look, I think people say Lerone Richards hasn't got the power, he's just a slickster, he moves around the ring. Lerone's going to be himself, but I think he's going to surprise a few people tomorrow night. He's going to surprise a few people with what he's got, and as the level of opponents gets better, I think you'll see more knockouts from Lerone.
Moving forwards into 2020, provided Saturday goes to plan and he was successful against Lennox-Clarke, what kind of early plans have you kind of laid out for Lerone for next year?
Well, I think if you look at the super middleweight division, I was going through it with Lerone the other day, you look at the top 5 names, they're all British names. And I don't think any of them are out of reach of Lerone. I think someone like Callum Smith, who's rated number 1, Lerone sparred him. There's not a massive difference in levels. It's not like saying it's Errol Spence or Terence Crawford or someone like that. Lerone Richards, let's deal with tomorrow night at 168, British champion. And then after that, I don't see anyone that's levels above Lerone. I think we can move him up to a world title next year, actually.
You just mentioned Callum Smith, and whilst we are on him, he fought John Reuter last week and was successful in his bout. I was out in Vegas covering Wilder-Ortiz fight, so I didn't get a chance to watch the fight, but when I was looking over social media, it was kind of one of those where a lot of people were leaning towards John Reuter. What was your thoughts on their fight?
I thought it was a close fight. I think the fact that a judge scored it wide, 117, 111, Terry O'Connor, in fact, who's judging Lerone on Saturday night, the fact that he scored it so wide, I don't buy into this. The judges are crooked. He scored it honestly. That's what he thought. But I think the fact that he scored it so wide has made people question the decision itself. I don't think it's an unfair decision to give Callum Smith that fight. It was a very close fight. I perhaps wouldn't have given it to him. A judge can see something else. But I think there's been a lot of overreaction because of the width of the scorecard. But I don't think it was an unfair result. I think John Reuter put up a great performance, but you can give it to Callum Smith. He was the champion coming in. Fair enough.
Callum's looking to move towards an Anfield fight next year. Everybody's saying he's going to have to take a big name for that to be secured. One of those which has been cropping up for a while now, Canelo. Do you think Callum would fare well against Canelo? So how do you see the fight playing out?
No, I think I've got the utmost respect for Callum Smith, British guy, world champion. I think that Canelo, you can draw comparisons between Canelo and John Reuter in terms of height. It's a very tough fight for anyone in the world. Canelo just beating Kovalev 175. So if he steps back down, it's a very, very tough fight. I don't think Callum Smith would disagree with me. I don't think Joe Gallagher would disagree. That's a tremendously tough fight. But do we want British champions to be engaging in those sort of world level fights? Yeah, for sure. It'd be a brilliant fight.
And also just want to get a word as well on one of your other charges, Joe Joyce. We're still awaiting news on the Marco Huck situation. Obviously the EBU mandating that fight, I should say. What is the situation there?
Situation is contracts are being swapped back and forth, finalising minor details. Marco Huck's in training, Joe Joyce is in training, 11th of January in Hanover. Stadium's booked, not finalised yet, but working very closely on the final detail.
How long do you think it will be until we have that official announcement?
We're waiting to hear, so I'd say hopefully days.
I mean, just quickly, a couple of fights I just want to get your thoughts on. Obviously, last weekend, as I mentioned, Wilder-Ortiz too. Deontay Wilder successful with a 7th-round stoppage victory. What was your thoughts on his fight?
I thought he was losing every round. I think he lost every round, and then he seemed to knock out Ortiz. He didn't even load up on the punch. He knocked him out. How hard was the punch? Everyone thinks it was like what he knocked out Dominic Brazil with. My thoughts are maybe Ortiz was a bit tired. Maybe he's a bit older. Would he knocked out Tyson Fury with that punch? Maybe not. Would he knock out Joe Joyce with that punch? Maybe not. But Wilder carries incredible power, and as everyone says, he's got to be perfect for 2 seconds. You've got to be perfect for the whole fight. I think he's an unbelievable star of world boxing.
And obviously, next weekend we see Ruiz-Joshua 2 out in Saudi Arabia again. Adam, your thoughts on it?
Just can't call it. I just can't call it. I think sometimes with rematches, you never know how people are going to fare against each other. So I think I would love AJ to win. Brilliant for British boxing. But I think the issue is that we've seen how they gelled the first time. And oftentimes the chemistry of how two fighters gel tells you more about them, you know, your independent opinion of both of them. I think the chemistry indicated that Ruiz is a very difficult style for Joshua. I think if I had to give it 51-49, I'd probably expect a repeat. But then, you know, hey Bellew, I was saying revenge, not repeat. So, you know, sometimes repeat happens more often than you think, despite what you think of the first fight.
Well, Adam, I'll leave that there now because I know I clocked you just as you was about to jump in the elevator, so I appreciate hanging around and thank you for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Pleasure, mate.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
Thank you.